Powerful, corrupt politicians who commit crimes only have one enemy. That enemy is, of course, the people who expose those crimes. And that's very true with, of course, the latest case that just happened with Julian Assange of WikiLeaks. Now, there's a lot to get into. There's a hacker in Ecuador that was arrested. There's allegations of walls being smeared with poop, extortion of sex tapes, IMF loans. There's so many different things to get into that we're going to get into. But first of all, let's get into some of the reactions. Obviously, everyone's going to be talking about Cackling Hillary, evil Clinton. We're going to get into her in just a little bit. But before we get into the negative, let's get into the people who actually stood up for free speech, stood up for journalism, stood up for, telling the truth. And the few individuals who did, they do deserve some shout outs. The people I saw was Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, Tulsi Gabbard. Jason, who did you see supporting Assange in the mainstream? Because it's not a lot of people.
No, it's certainly not a lot of people. And I would say this, most people are piling on. I'll give Cenk Uygur credit. He did. He came to his aid. He said, look, he had every right to do that. His partner, not so much. She tried to play politics a bit. But we need everybody realizing this is a huge issue.
Yeah, Jason, you know who didn't come out and support Julian Assange and WikiLeaks? The U.S. president.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, who says, I know nothing. Literally denying he even knows what WikiLeaks after time and time again. There's been countless numbers of videos of him praising that organization, which many people allude to a major part of his presidential victory. But now the administration is playing major defense. And this is stunning. This is a total 180-degree turn, a stab in the back of truth that is having a lot of Trump supporters really scratching their head. Not us. We were calling this from the very beginning. But even the vice president, Mike Pence, came out, is running more defense. He said, Trump saying, I love WikiLeaks doesn't mean he endorses what it did. What? How can you say... Absolutely no sense at all. It looks like even Sean Hannity got the word to stop talking about Julian Assange. He did a pretty okay show. He did a pretty good show out of everyone else out there in the mainstream media. But now it seems like he just deleted all references to Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. He does have very good connections to Donald Trump, to the White House. I'm going to speculate here, but he most likely got a message down the line saying, hey, this is our stance on this. You want to toe the line here, or you want to be against us? That's most likely what I believe personally happened, in my own opinion. I have no facts to back that up, but it looks like this is happening. We'll find out more. But again, the biggest reaction, Jason, is, of course, Cackling Hillary, evil Clinton, who came out with the statement. You want to intro these statements, Jason?
Yeah, so Hillary Clinton sitting there with her smug husband gets asked about WikiLeaks, and boy, Luke, I did not like her responses. I mean, first of all, she whitewashes every issue. She's like, oh, this isn't about journalism. This isn't about freedom of speech. Let's let her words speak for him. I think, in this 1-minute clip, I might have to stop it 6 times to vomit, but we'll find out.
With the work of Mr. Assange.
I do.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, is my view, but...
Well, look, I think it is clear from the indictment that came out. It's not about punishing journalism.
Let's stop that. It's not about punishing journalism. Hey, guess what? This was part of your administration, okay? Not as president, but you were part of that Obama administration. You know damn well what these indictments are. Don't act all coy. Oh, I don't know. From the indictment. She knows a lot more than she's saying right off the bat, Luke.
She looks like George Soros or Jabba the Hutt had a love child sitting there. I'm sorry, that's personal. That's nothing analytical at all. I can't believe people are laughing. I'm just very, very kind of disturbed just by the way that this was introed. Obviously, there's some things to be critical of Assange, which we're going to be talking about later. But holy cow, let's just keep going here.
It's about assisting the hacking of the military computer to steal information from the United States government.
Let's stop it there. Assisting the hacking to get the information from the United States government. He didn't assist in any hacking. Now, in the actual indictment, Luke, they start talking about encouraging Manning. He assisted in no hacking. Let's get that straight. He talked about a password, which he didn't help crack, as far as I've seen in that indictment. Have you?
Nope, and he's facing officially 5 years, and the United States is being very heavy-handed on this 5-year charge. Now, obviously, there's going to be other charges related to this that are not yet public, which I'm guessing in this entire matter. But so far, officially, on the record, 5 years on one specific charge of exactly what you mentioned. Let's keep going here.
I'll wait and see what happens with the charges and how it proceeds. But he skipped bail in the UK. Sweden had those charges, which have been dropped in the last several years. But
let's stop it right there. So she admits that the charges were dropped because they were phony, and he skipped bail on phony charges they were trying to set him up with. Come on. Like, you not understand the game is rigged? Any of you journalists that are not having his back on this issue, and any of you Democrats out there that identify with Hillary Clinton and voted for her, and you're still on the bandwagon that this monster is somehow good for your lives, wake the F up. This is authoritarianism in a leather jacket.
Jason, you're probably talking to 12 deranged people in elderly homes who don't have a basic sense of reality, who still support her. But let's keep going.
He has to answer for what he has done, at least as it's been charged. I do think it's a little ironic that he may be the only foreigner that this administration would welcome to the United States.
It's so hilarious, Luke. It's so funny that we ruined a man's life, that we kept him basically in a place that was much like a prison to him, Luke. Okay? For 7+ years to laugh about when we drug him out looking like a homeless man taken out of a gas station bathroom. It's so funny to you. Well, I'm glad that you can have your caviar and steak dinner while you cackle with your criminal husband and your cohorts. It makes me so warm and fuzzy inside, Luke.
It's really just like a criminal doing a perp dance, just celebrating the fact that she was able to get away with all of her crimes, which were documented, which were released, which we saw just outright corruption, outright collusion, outright just screwing over the people for special interests, which you and your husband do, giving speeches that are, charging companies 6 figures to do. I mean, come on. We see it. People are sick of you. You're a repulsive political creature that no one wants anything to do with, and people are begging you not to run to be president of the United States this time around because of just the absolute scam that you are. And, the only thing that they have is, of course, the mainstream media and other disillusioned, insane Democrats like Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer tweeted out, "Now that Julian Assange has been arrested, I hope he will soon be held to account for his meddling in our elections on behalf of Putin and the Russian government." I mean, my golly, good gracious, how insane. I mean, really what they're saying here is they want to put journalists in prison because they report on the information that exposes them for who they are. They ultimately, I mean, come on here. I think it's pretty plain here. Hate the First Amendment. There's other things happening in this entire case that I wanted to get into. Jason, feel free to cut me off here, but it's also kind of a strange coincidence that IMF just approved a major loan for Ecuador, the company that just got rid of Julian Assange's asylum, to the tune of $4.2 billion. And of course, Ecuador officially came out and said that they got rid of him because he was an unruly guest. Now, I bet there's probably some truth to that. Do you want to get into some of the allegations? Ecuador also said that Julian Assange was trying to hack them. What do you make of these allegations against him? Because we're seeing them reported. Is there any merit or truth to them, Jason?
Well, I mean, first of all, the president himself has come out and called him a spoiled brat. Okay.
The president of Ecuador.
Yes, president of Ecuador. Again, Trump looked like a sad and beaten child when he was asked about WikiLeaks. He's like, I don't know anything about it. I've never seen such low energy from Trump. Such low energy. Other subject, okay?
You're channeling the Jackmans there.
Yeah, I love the Jackmans. They're great. So anyway, all these smear jobs, if you will, they talk about his hygiene. Apparently he was the smelly kid in class. I mean, continue on. the smelly kid in class who also smeared, and talk about smear jobs, smeared the poo-poo on the embassy walls. Come
That's
on,
allegedly.
guys.
It's allegedly. This could again. It's coming from Ecuador. I would question the validity of that because, on one hand, it could be true because you're in pretty much solitary confinement where people go crazy and you would do such things like that. On the second hand, this could be a smear job, pun intended, to make him look bad. And I don't know. It's important to be critical on stories like this.
Yeah, and the other thing that's being very, very underplayed in the media with all of this is that somehow, they tapped into everything. We know about the secret surveillance that was going to the Trump administration, but it appears that blackmailers also have a lot of these tapes from inside the Ecuadorian embassy, and they have the sex secrets of Julian Assange. So, again, Pamela Anderson has remarked on how they have had a romantic relationship, and she's outright tweeted against Trump and called him a coward and you name it after this, which he is. But I think it goes even beyond Pam Anderson. There are several women, some famous, some not so famous, that have visited him. This could be compromising, showing that the guy had no real privacy this entire time. He gave up everything, guys. Whether you like the guy or not, he literally gave, you know how lucky I am that when this is all over and we're done taping, I can go to Walgreens to grab myself a kombucha. It's great. I can do that. He can't do that. That's like minor stuff. I'm going to walk my dog sometime today in the park. We're all taking that for granted. That's something, he had a cat he held on to in a confined space. Do you understand? And then on top of all this, Luke, they pick up one of these WikiLeaks collaborators, a programmer, at the Ecuadorian airport. They're trying to say that he was going to flee to Japan. They also say that he was working with 2 unknown Russian hackers that were inside Ecuador. Okay. And who knows what's going to... They want him for investigative purposes. This guy, in his little pork pie hat with his lanyard, he might never see the light of day again. Guys, this is a huge, huge deal. Think about it. If this guy's not safe, if Assange isn't safe, are any of us safe?
He has a little pork belly like me now. The title reads in the story, Ecuador arrests digital privacy activist and programmer for collaborating with WikiLeaks. Now, one of the accusations from Ecuador and Ecuadorian officials is that Julian Assange tried to kind of hack their systems. And it wouldn't surprise me if there was some collaboration here because tensions were growing between Ecuador and Julian Assange, especially after Assange started promoting the Catalan independence movement in Spain. The Spanish government brought pressure on the Ecuadorian government. The Ecuadorian government told Assange to stop talking about the Catalan protest movement, and Julian Assange refused to, and he kept tweeting about it until they took away his internet. And then it wouldn't surprise me if there was some kind of communication and some kind of effort to do some last resort. Again, we're still waiting to find out all the information. We're still waiting to find out all the charges. It's important to be critical here, but just on face value alone, this is an important issue for free speech. This is an important issue for freedom, for journalism, for anyone who wants to show the empire for what it is. That's my opinion. Jason, if you have anything else to say, feel free to cut
I
me
got
off.
one more thing to break down for everybody. Tulsi Gabbard should be given credit because she's the one politician that's been vocal about this. So I just want to play a little bit of her intro clip here with Jake Tapper describing why this is a problem and this is a dark day, because you're not going to hear this from guys like Chuck Schumer, okay?
Look, over time, there hasn't been any proof that has been brought to bore. And what we have seen is that so much of the information that's been released has informed the American people about actions that were taking place that they should be aware of.
Yep.
It provided transparency around issues both related to civil liberties as well as actions that our military was taking in the Middle East that they should not have been.
Spot on. Everything she said there was spot on. What did this guy reveal? Things that were going against our civil liberties, atrocities in the Middle East we should all know about, Luke.
Exactly. It's critically important to understand how the government pretty much, especially the videos that were released that were absolutely sickening, showing the cover up and pretty much assassination, murder of journalists, Reuters journalists, that they were lying about continuously until we actually were able to find out, no, there's a huge, massive cover up, and there was even more bombs and more killings of the people trying to rescue them and put them into hospitals in Iraq. Again, I could go into the minutiae here. It's clear. You either stand for freedom or you stand for tyranny. Trump has made a huge U-turn. huge turn of his back. He stands for tyranny. He stands with Hillary Clinton on this issue, and it's disgusting, and it needs to be called out, and we're calling it out here. You appreciate that? We need you to share this video because guess what? The algorithm's definitely not going to promote it. We need your support financially. WeAreChange.org/donate. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. That's why we are independent media. Any small donation, $5 means the world to us. WeAreChange.org/donate. Don't forget to go there. And once again, love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.